This is the Women's Retail Collective podcast, where I, your host, Ann Mezzenga, pull together retail's most influential women to talk about their careers, how they made it to senior level leadership, and how they're leading their organizations through the rapidly evolving retail industry. This podcast is made possible through the support of our sponsor, Parcel Pending. Don't just improve your customer experience, make it special with Buy Online, Pickup and Locker by Parcel Pending. Purpose-built to meet retailers' unique needs, this smart delivery solution seamlessly integrates with existing order management apps and systems to make BOPUS faster, safer, and more flexible for shoppers. To learn more, visit parcelpending.com. I'm thrilled today to introduce you to my guest on this one. Today on the show, we have Sunny Jiang, the president and CEO of EyeBuyDirect. Sunny, welcome to the show today. How's it going?
Everything's going very well. Thank you for inviting me, and it's my pleasure to be with you today.
Yeah, Sunny, where are you based? Where are we connecting with you today?
Actually, I'm based from Shanghai, China.
Wonderful. And I'd love to, before we get into your career, tell us a little bit about you and your background.
As you just introduced, the president and the CEO of EyeBuyDirect, and I joined the company in 2007, almost right after my graduation from a university. And EyeBuyDirect is my first job here. I started my journey as a finance controller and working in the finance department for about 3 years, and followed by a promotion as our operations director. When we became part of Essilor, I was named to be the general manager. During the 5 years experience as the general manager, I surpassed most of the business goals, from the top line revenue to the bottom line margin, profit, cost controlling, and organization perspectives. Yeah, you can say that EyeBuyDirect and I have grown hand in hand.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, you've been there for almost 15 years now. Is that right?
Yeah,
Tell
that's
us a
correct.
little bit about how things have changed in that time, because I mean, now I think the world we know, buying direct glasses directly online, but I imagine it wasn't that way when you started as a finance controller. What has happened since you started?
Wow, it was a completely different picture. So when I freshly joined the company,
Yeah.
EyeBuyDirect was a private, right, owned or funded by our Israeli entrepreneur called Roy Hensel. So, back in that time, EBD was a pure player online already, and we are the pioneer for optical online. So, but the e-commerce was not that developed as of today. So in the first couple of years, actually, EyeBuyDirect both worked for retail and wholesale. We served our the supply chain for the UK supermarket based in London. But very soon we found the opportunity or huge potential to focus on retail. That is why we shifted all of the attention from both hotel and retail to purely retail. And it was the story from more than 15 years ago. And then down the road, actually, as a pure e-commerce player, the business have evolved so much, like from the channel perspective, brand perspective, business, commercial perspective, and the team perspective. Every year, new challenges and opportunities. Every year, the team changes. But I would say that I have been so fortunate to witness everything, down the road, from our small company making maybe 500 orders a year to now. If you look at today, this year we are serving to more than 3 million customers.
Wow. That's incredible. Do you have a collection of people that have been there kind of through this whole path, or are you kind of one of these people who have been with the company for a long time? Like, you've got all this rich knowledge and history.
Yeah, actually, we have our team who have been with us for over 10 years. If let
Okay.
me think about the number, I think about right now in a company we have around 100 people from Shanghai and LA. Out of the 100, about 20%, I would say 15 to 20% of us, have been serving the brand and the business for over 10 years. Actually, I'm
Wow.
not, like the only one who they
Right.
have been for so long time.
That's fascinating. I mean, you don't hear about that often, especially when you have these companies that, go from, pure play, eyewear all the way through now to an e-commerce retailer. Like the business has evolved, and the fact that you have this strong team that's been with you for 10 years, that's incredible. I want to hear your CEO and president now. Take me to the day that you found out that you were going to be taking over this role.
As I just now said, I worked in the finance department for around 3 years. Then, served as operation director, general manager, and CEO. Actually, like there are so many, criteria or qualifications needed, like from being a leader or CEO. But, in my view, the most important thing is to lead by example. So as a leader, we should always be willing to do anything that we ask our team to do. And we are always ready to put the same or a great amount of work than the team does. When the team is not available or not ready to do certain things, we immediately step in and to act on things proactively as a doer. So this is the most important criteria or qualification in my view, like as a strong leader. So
And
that is also helped me to become the CEO of EyeBuyDirect.
And so you were in the general manager role prior to becoming, is that right? Prior to becoming CEO?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct.
So what happened when you got the promotion to CEO? What happened that day when you found out? Were you surprised? Did you kind of know it was coming? Like, how did you feel?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Let me recall my memory a little bit. I think it was 2017. So
Okay.
by that time, we have been part of SLO for about 5 years. I knew that our founder Roy Hansel was leaving the company, and I knew that we need a replacement or we need our new person to be on the position. But I never expected myself to be selected. And the time when Roy notified me about this decision or this appointment, I was truly flattered. And it was, completely beyond my expectation. I heard that there are many kind of competitors from the group perspective applying for the position. So that's why I never expect myself like to be on the role. But when I was notified about the news, and I was so excited, and I don't know how to describe, but basically it was completely unexpected, and I felt really honored and excited about it. And very quickly, immediately after the announcement, I jumped to the role as a CEO. To be honest, there were not many substantial changes to transit a role from general manager to CEO and
Interesting.
president at EyeBuyDirect, because I was already, working on many things as a CEO when actually the title was the general manager. So the transition process was rather smooth.
That I love hearing that story because I think it's kind of a mystery, Like I love that you said. So did you submit to like when you knew the job was opening? What is that process? Do you say like I want to throw my hat in the ring, or like how do you even say, or did you even say, or did they just tell you like, Sunny, this is it. This is your next stop.
Yeah. Actually, indeed, I said nothing. I said zero things about, because I didn't aim to be selected, right? As just mentioned, but I was hinted, or I had during some of the conversations with EyeBuyDirect, the founder, I pointed out my concern, right? I never expect myself to be on the role, but I wonder and was very curious to learn about the process, for the CEO selection or appointment. So that's the whole process. It was completely a positive surprise for me for the result.
Well, and you're a mom too, right?
Yeah.
And how old are your kids? Are they younger? This is 2017, right?
No, like I have two children.
Yeah.
My daughter is 5.5. My son is only 2 years old. Yeah.
Okay, so this happened before your son, and with a very young baby at home, you got this big news. How was that? I mean, it sounds like you already kind of had things, running. The transition you said wasn't too crazy at work. What was the transition like being a mom and taking on this new big opportunity?
Yeah, that is a much harder part in life, actually, to be a mom, and in the meanwhile, to be a career woman. It's tricky and complicated, sometimes much harder or challenging than the transition work from being a general manager to our CEO. Yeah, so I would say, always learn, and actually, to have our first child, me and my husband, we have been waiting for her for many, many years. So we almost give up. Then it happened. So for me, it was like a super positive surprise. And you can imagine that how careful and how much, attention I give like to the first child.
Right.
And like me and my husband, we love children, and we were aiming to have 3, even 4 children. So that's what. But right after the first one, we we were not that much stressed. We relaxed. We say we just follow the nature. And and then the second, like my son arrives very smoothly. But very soon we found that it's very challenging to have our ideal balance. I would say there is almost no ideal balance. Sometimes you sacrifice one thing for the other. Sometimes the opposite way. But like we should have a mindset that there is no perfection. Sometimes when you pursue too much of perfection, you may not be able to accomplish anything. So that's why accept yourself to be not perfect on many things, as a mom, as a career woman. Maybe that is a good mindset to relax yourself sometimes.
Ugh, I love that advice, Sunny. I think that's so good. There's so often, so many of the women that I speak to on this podcast they have very similar experiences where there's no magic solution to being a career woman and being a mom and a wife and a sister and a friend and all these things. So I think this idea of just do your best day to day is great advice. As you think about kind of the next few years in this role, Sunny, what's on your bucket list for where you want to take EyeBuyDirect? Like what are some things that you're thinking about getting into? We're seeing, lots of people going back into retail stores. Is that ever something that you think that you'd get into, or do you feel like you have a good thing going right now? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. Even after working on the brand for so many years, over a decade, I still have so much passion and excitement, to continue being the leader of the brand. EyeBuyDirect, we are extremely confident that, like the product that we're serving to the market are excellent, and the service is on A levels.
Right.
We just need a little bit more people to know about us so they can enjoy the benefit. So, in order to grow the brand awareness and to lift the brand to another high level, we are actually considering a few activities in the next year or two. For example, the geo expansion. We will probably continue focusing on the US market or North America, but we will open our eyes also to Europe, even South America. So, in order to allow consumers, they know the brand is amazing and they can, as just mentioned, enjoy the benefit to be our customer. And also we are looking into the opportunity to have a cross-channel touch-based experience with customers from online to offline, offline to online. So we just want to be at the places that, wherever our consumers are at. Okay. And also, we are, widening the product categories, right? Like from right now, if you look at EyeBuyDirect profile, it's mostly on our white label product called EyeBuyDirect. But we are very open to introduce more third-party brands like Ray-Ban, Oakley. We already have on a profile, but maybe next year we are introducing another few brands in order to cater to different consumers' needs. And also, a contact lenses is also on our radar to consider. We just need to conduct a few research studies in order to well understand people's demand and the market need. So as mentioned, from the geo expansion to cross-channel touch-based experiences to the product lines expansion is center. So we are aiming to be more active on a few campaigns or activities in the next year or so in order to grow the brand to our stronger position.
That's fantastic. I mean, this idea, I've never really thought about that before, but it's almost like you're building this marketplace for online eyewear purchasing, which, is really unique in addition to having your own label that you're selling. Do you have a favorite frame, Sunny? Do you I have to wonder, like, you must have, do you have all these different frames that you wear and try out, or that would be such a fun job, I think.
So many. Yes, so many. At EyeBuyDirect, we have a total of 3,200 skills, wow. Out of which, 45% of them are bestsellers. I always, pick up some bestsellers to try on for myself. But even for, the slow sellers or the performers that in the middle, always try on the and to see different look and feel of myself. Right now, if you can see me from the camera, yeah. I'm wearing a ribbon. So a ribbon which I got from a few years ago. This is one of my favorite brands and yes. My favorite best sellers at EBD.
Oh, I love them. Yes, they look fantastic. Well, Sunny, what, as you kind of look forward again, thinking about what you have on your plate in the next couple of years, what about your work at EyeBuyDirect keeps you inspired? What keeps you energized and ready to go to work every day?
Yeah, so one of the most exciting things is that every year, as just mentioned earlier, that new challenges, new opportunities, as a part of a larger group, we are fully supported to have to be agile and to have the flexibility to, most of the things, as just mentioned, the business initiatives, the new strategies, the new concept, introduction of new brands is central to the brand profile. We, as an e-commerce player, agility and flexibility is key, right? So you want to make sure that you react on things very fast. And so that is also part of EyeBuyDirect culture. So we act on things as a team. So the team spirit is absolutely very high. And when we have a challenge as a team, we react on it. And so that is the beautiful thing working at EyeBuyDirect.
Well, Sunny, you seem like such a fantastic leader for your team. And that is one major requirement of having an agile team is somebody who can also motivate the people that are working with them when there's so much change happening all the time. Did you always think that this would be your role? Like when you were going to university, is this kind of what you thought you'd be doing if you look back?
No, it was also not. Actually, when I was in university as a student, I didn't have much thought. My major was international finance and accounting, but I dreamed to be a teacher, like for
Wow.
children, in kindergarten for years. And I don't know why. I just, when I was very young, I dreamed to be a mom. So I wanted to be that kind of type of person. But, like as I mentioned, right after my graduation, I joined EyeBuyDirect, and there were always beautiful opportunities welcoming me to be on like the roles. So a lot of things are quite unexpected, but I have been very lucky to have a lot of not mentors, but like coaches or like people that I get along really well. For example, Roy Hensel is one of the people, and
Yeah.
also my boss from the group. Also, we get along super well, and my talent is fully recognized. And like the opportunity is so precious for me.
Well, I wonder, Sunny, as you look back, you mentioned some mentors that you've had. If you look back at your career, even when you were dreaming of maybe becoming a kindergarten teacher back in the day, a long time ago, if you were to write somebody a thank you note for the impact that they had on the position that you're in, the CEO and president of EyeBuyDirect, if you were to look back and write a note to them, thanking them for their contribution, what would you write to them and who would you write that note to?
I would write to a few people, but maybe one of them is again like Roy Hensel, the founder of EyeBuyDirect.
Okay.
When he was here, we call each other brother and sister. We
Oh,
were so close to each other, and our families met, if not every week, every other week. My husband, myself, he and his wife, and when he has children, we come up with his children, etc. We were really close, in the relationship. I would want to write to him saying thank you, and thank you, Roy, for letting me be myself. So he, like didn't limit my talent. He just, give me the opportunity, give me the platform to perform as myself. So that is a big thank you, definitely I want to give. And also, right now working as part of a big, very large group at EssilorLuxottica, I really appreciate their, their approach. When they work with businesses, if you are capable, you deliver,
mhm.
you continue being independent. So that is crucial for EyeBuyDirect as an e-commerce player, staying in a very competitive landscape. So that is another like thank you, I guess, like to our group as Luxottica.
Sunny, if you were to be giving advice to somebody who's, working in their retail career, they see you, they listen to this, they're aspiring to be in your position someday, what advice would you have for them?
I would say, first of all, be aware of your strengths and weakness, regardless of how young are you. You need to know yourself. And that is the first advice. And if you're in a retail industry, study very hard about the industry. It is very special, different to, like wholesale or the traditional industries. And also, react on things proactively and try to be truly yourself. That is my advice for the young joiners of the retail industry.
Sunny Jiang, thank you so much for being with us today on the Women's Retail Collective. Sunny, if you could hold your own concert with three bands, dead or alive, Who would you choose?
My favorite bands, they're all, from kind of Taiwan or Hong Kong or the mainland China. I'm not sure that you guys are familiar with them. Jay Chou, Jay Chou are very famous, almost the number one famous music. He's a pop star, so his music has been famous. I guess like in China, Taiwan, and even Singapore for many years.
Okay.
I love every single song that he composed and he plays. So if I have an opportunity to, have a concert, definitely the first choice is Jay.
Okay, Jay Chu. Any others? Who else would you add?
And the other is my role model, Fei Wong. Fei Wong, she's she has a special personality because she's famous to be silent, except for singing the songs. She's just silent. She doesn't say anything, maybe except for a word or two, say, thank you, bye-bye. That's it. She really has her a personality. Michael Jackson.
Okay, yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I love him. I love almost every song. I love his dances. And I know it's a shame he's already gone, but if there is a chance, I would love to have a concert with him, or at least to be invited to his concert.